Hello, welcome to lesson 9.2, circumference and arc length. So first we are going to look at circumference of a circle, and we're going to be using these two formulas right here. So if you want to go ahead and highlight them. So if they're giving us the diameter, we want to use this first one that has D in it. If they're going to give us radius, we want to use the second one that has R in it. And just to review from last time, diameter is going across the whole circle to the center, and the radius is going from the center to the edge. So diameter is all the way, radius is half the way. So let's look at example number 1. So in number 1, are they giving us the radius or diameter? It is the halfway one, so it's the radius. So which formula are we going to be using? The one with R in it. So let's write that down. C equals 2 pi R. And then all we have to do is fill in the formula, grab our calculator, and solve. So let's fill it in first. So 2 pi, right? 2 does not change, pi does not change because pi is a number. R is our variable, so we got to put in our radius, which is 9. And we can just plug all this in, or I know 2 times 9 is 18. So I'm going to put in 18 times pi into the calculator, and I get 56.5. There's a 4 after it, so I'm going to keep this at 0.5. I'm running to the nearest tenth. So my answer is 56.5 feet. So go ahead and try number 2 on your own. All right, so hopefully you started with the formula, which is C equals 2 pi R. We're going to fill in the radius is 11. And so now I'm going to put in 22 times pi into the calculator. So we get 69.1 kilometers. And if I'm going a little fast, it's because this should be a review. Hopefully we did this in middle school. If not, just all we're doing is using the formula and plugging in our numbers that they're giving us in the question. If you have any questions, just come and ask me. All right, let's keep it moving to number 3. So this one is, they're giving us the diameter. Again, look at the picture up here if that helps. Diameter is going all the way across to the center. So this one is the diameter, number 3. So we're going to use the formula with D in it, which is just C equals pi diameter. Okay, so we're going to plug in, we're going to plug in 14 for diameter. Let's scroll up. There we go. So now we're going to clear our calculator, put in pi times 14, and that gives us 43.98. To the nearest tenth, this rounds to 44.0. So 44.0 meters. All right, go ahead and pause the video. Try number 4. All right, so hopefully you start with the formula. C equals pi diameter. Diameter this time is 24. So all we have to do is put in our calculator pi times 24. And we get 75.4 centimeters. Okay, so that is circumference again, and I think we went over this last time, but maybe not. The circumference is just the edge around the circle. So just in case I kind of went too fast and you're like, what are we even solving for? Solving for that distance around the circle. That's it, just using this formula. And so once we have circumference down, now arc length is the same thing, except just think back to last lesson. An arc is just part of the circumference. It's like part of the edge of the circle, right? So it's another formula that we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and highlight that formula. Okay, and how do we get this formula? Well, so it's the same as circumference, right? 2 pi R. In all of these, they're going to be giving us either the radius or the diameter, and we have to, if we know the diameter, radius is just half of that. So that's where that first part comes from. And then the second part is just theta over 360, right? When we solve for arc, or when they're going to give us a question about arc, they're going to give us part of the circle, like the theta, the angle. So if it's like, let's say 120 degrees, right? That's a third of the circle. So we're taking the circumference times 1/3. That's where we're getting this formula from, okay? And you could look at this example a little bit later, but let's do example number 5 together. So it says find the length of the arc, which means I'm going to be using my arc formula. So let's go ahead and copy that down from up here, which is 2 pi R. So always use this one, 2 pi R. and then theta over 360, right? We're just going to copy that straight from the top. Okay. And again, just like the other one, they're going to give us all of these things that we can fill in, right? The 2 does not change. Pi does not change. But the radius in this case is 12, right? 12 meters. So let's put 12 for radius. And the theta in this case is 60. Our angle in this case is 60. So 60 over 360, all right? And so hopefully you can kind of recognize that 60 out of 360 is 1/6. So all we're doing is we're taking the circumference of the circle and taking 1/6 of that, okay? So now let's put this in our calculator. So clear your calculator, put in 2 times pi times 12 times 60, divide by 360. All of that could just be in one line. Hit equals, and you should get 12.56. We're going to round this to the nearest tenth, so that would be 12.6. And we're going to use that same unit, which is meters. Okay, or you can also do 2 times 12 in your head, so you know it's 24 times pi times 60 divided by 360, however you want to do it. I would just put all the numbers in the calculator, let it solve it for you, and then you have your answer. So go ahead and try number 6 on your own. All right, so hopefully we started with our formula, which is 2 pi r theta over 360. Always start with your formula. I always do that with all of these questions that we're going to have in this unit and a unit coming up. Always start with the formula, okay? So now let's fill it in. 2 does not change. Pi does not change. Our radius in this case is 13 kilometers. And our theta, our angle this time, is 225. So we're going to put all this in the calculator. Do this with me. 2, or hopefully you did this already, but 2 times pi times 13, or you're going to put in, 26 times pi, times 225 divided by 360, and I get 51 point, and I have to round this to the nearest tenth, so 51.05 rounds to 51.1. That's going to be kilometers. All right, so I am going to, is that it? Oh, that's it. Okay, so we are done. You're going to go ahead and practice this, the circumference and the length of the arc. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.